Hi, this is Kevin from Let Me Tech You, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over ChatGPT, something you've probably been hearing a lot in the tech, content AI creation space, whatever, but it's been all over the internet. But in regards to tech, I want to talk about how ChatGPT can be useful in tech and not only being a tool you could use to help build things, but also help correct and fix problems that you're running into. And what I mean by that, say you're deploying, something I'm going to show in this video is like, some Kubernetes YAML files that are maybe misconfigured, or maybe you have some PowerShell scripts that are blowing up, or some type of code, JavaScript, Python, whatever you code in, something just keeps, causing problems, and you're spending hours trying to figure out what's going on. But basically, if you haven't been, or if you're not familiar with Chat GPT and what's going on, you can head over to chat.openai.com, sign up for a free account, and you can walk through some of the tutorials that I'm going to just be showing you here today. And they've made some updates since, the last couple of weeks they've been live, or actually months, I guess you could say. So over here on the left-hand side, they now have chat history, which is actually pretty cool. So like all my chats that I previously done, they're in there, and then you can even come in and edit those as well. You can clear conversations. Obviously got dark mode, light mode. I know a lot of people like dark mode, so maybe I'll keep it on this for that video. But basically, yeah, I mean, I think at some point they're going to probably start charging for this. I mean, I think they're already putting caps on like how much you can do per day until you give like some feedback. And basically now, so I want to start with showing you something that could potentially be very useful. So I got this YAML file here, which is basically a deployment file for Kubernetes to deploy an Nginx container inside of a pod. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some things from the YAML configuration purposely. And I want to see if Chat GPT can pick it up, what's going on, to give you an idea on how powerful this tool could be. So I have my notepad here of the file. So basically what I've changed is I took out version, or I took out the S in version. I took out the T in deployment. Let me see if I can change anything else. Replicas, maybe I'll take replicas out. And let's take out this comment. Oops. Let me go back. There we go. All right, so I took my replicas out. Or maybe I'll even throw -1 in there or something. Let's see what that does. Not sure, but okay, so anything. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to see if this can actually figure out what's going on. So I'm going to go over to our screen here. So basically now, let's say you want to kind of talk to it in like a conversational way. So that's the whole premise behind Chat GPT. You should be able to talk to it like you're talking to anyone else. And so let's go. Why can you help me determine why this YAML configuration keeps, let's say, in failing? And then I'm going to paste in my YAML file, and then let's see. Okay, so it's picked up the typo, and it's picked up the kind, and then it's also picked up that I had a negative integer in the replicas. So then it went ahead and also fixed it, which is pretty cool. So now instead of actually saying taking some code and trying to, and I know, and then it actually named fixing the YAML configuration is pretty cool. So it actually, went ahead, fixed it. And you're probably wondering, well, what's the benefit of that? Well, I wouldn't even really say it did it for you, because like, yeah, you could have went on Google and found a bunch of forums and tried some different things, and you know, this could have been an easy fix, you know, but I'm just talking in a grand scheme of things as far as like, say it's a piece of code, like a long PowerShell script, for example. You throw it in there, and but see what it actually also did is it taught you basically what went wrong so that you don't make those mistakes again. So instead of like, you know, say someone on your team was troubleshooting this and they missed the S, but you know, for 30 minutes or so, you just overlooked the S, or you didn't put the right commands in the kubectl commands to diagnose why it's failing. You just know that when you run it, it just doesn't do anything. But you come to this tool here, you put it in, and it's basically telling you step by step what you did wrong, all your typos, your replica sets, and so on and so forth. And then it also saves it here on the left hand side. So then you can now come back to it and find any type of notes that were given to you for a later date. And that's another thing too. I think if they make this to where it actually allows you to use, like, you know, save your old configurations and not need to go and find those old forums again, I think that could be a very useful tip, because I think it could also maybe start to learn the type of person you are. And as you start to say, feed it more and more of any type of industry you're in, whether it's tech or I don't know what, you know, maybe, you know, media, you know, where you're writing and creating content, it'll start to learn like what types of things that you're good at. And it could maybe even become smarter in helping you learn things and giving you resources to make sure that you don't have to, you know, fully rely on the tool when it comes to starting new projects. So, you know, as far as that, so that's one idea there. But then you could also take it a step further, and let's say, let's find some PowerShell code, or you know what? Let's do this. How can I, or let's say, what would be the proper command to apply this on my, or inside my cluster? And then just to make sure your command's right, you can also see, so now it says kubectl apply, your -F for your file, and then the path to the Nginx deployment. So, you know, then it's also giving you a synopsis on what that's going to do when it runs. And then also that you can use the namespace flag to specify the namespace. So if you're deploying this into a different namespace and not the default one, which this one would do, then you would want to use this command down here. So that could be another step in, okay, this part wasn't working, but you know what? Maybe I wasn't also, you know, deploying it correctly. So, hey, just to make sure, could you kind of guide me on the right path of what I should actually be putting in when deploying this? So now instead of having to go to the Kubernetes documentation, searching for it through here, and then hopefully finding it, you know, here's one, but maybe it doesn't give you an exact, you know, a good reasoning on why this is actually done this way. Whereas here, it's actually breaking it down to you in a conversational way versus you having to figure out from someone's blog post or Reddit thread on why they did something, where typically sometimes you might even get in those situations where you do see code online and they just give you the command and they don't really do much for you there. So that's it there. I'm not going to go through a bunch of different changes or, you know, stuff that could actually be done, because it, you know, it kind of shows here the power of what you can do with just, you know, making sure that you're, you know, asking the right questions and not necessarily just using the tool as a crutch, but in tech, you know, using it as a way to drive the company forward and also reduce, you know, costs, because now instead of having to say take 2-3 hours to troubleshoot code or something that's breaking, or if you're in a break fix, you know, a scenario where there's a company down, we can essentially deploy this tool to figure out why our code broke if it wasn't caught before it, it hit the production. So again, hey, give me your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, how you guys feel on, Chat GPT and the future of AI in the tech industry. I'll be, glad to kind of, read some of your guys' reviews on how this tool works or what your guys' thoughts are. Again, check out my blog, letmetechyou.com. Like and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.